So I'm running out of time today. So this video is pretty late for me. It's my birthday. So I spent the whole day like on the phone with people. And then I didn't get my barbecue. But I went for a long walk and I picked up some chocolate cake at the grocery store. Last ditch effort. So I got my chocolate cake. I haven't eaten it yet because I wanted to make a video real quick. And I made like a little short talking about a quote that I got from Carl Jung. And it was about how he said, life truly begins when you turn 40. Before that, everything else is just research. And I was like, you know what? That's actually very true. Today I turned 45, which is, back in the days, I used to think that was old. But now that I'm actually 45 and it's me inside this, meat suit or whatever, I don't feel like it's that old. And I feel like that statement was actually true. It's really interesting to go into the way that Carl Jung describes a life cycle, because you have like I think the beginning one is the athlete. And that's where, like your baby life, this is where you're playful, you play sports, things like that. You're just kind of figuring everything out, your motor skills, your everything. And then you hit into the warrior stage, which is pretty much where most of us have been for the majority of our lives, is the warrior stage. And some people don't ever make it out of the warrior stage. This is where you're figuring out what you want to be, figuring out who you want to be, figuring out what you want to do, figuring out who you want to date, what kind of life you want. And we spend this through our 20s and our 30s just fighting and breaking through to different types of professions and things like that. And I have a theory too that if you've been doing something, say the same type of job through your 20s, by the time you hit your 30s, you dramatically change it. I wouldn't call it a midlife crisis, but because I don't think it's the middle of your life, considering I now believe that your life begins at 40, because it's a biased opinion. Leave me alone. No. But almost everybody I know, especially males, when they hit 30, between 30 and 33, it's like, yo, I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. And they just drop what they're doing and switch it up dramatically. And a lot of times they end up working for themselves around that time, or starting a business that's kind of the same thing as they were doing and kind of taking it into their own hands. So it's a whole nother level. So anyway, he has the athlete, the warrior, and then the other one is the statement, which is the 40 and up. And this is where you've kind of gone through, okay, I've done the athlete, I've done the warrior, and you come out of the warrior stage with being more established, and you're able to be a role model or a mentor towards warriors below you. And you're able to give people more advice and tell people what rocks not to step on because they're loose, it's kind of a little bit more of the elder, the mentor, the Yoda stage. Been there, done that. Hey, don't do that. Yeah, do that. That's a good idea. This is a good idea. That type of stage. And I feel like that's what I'm entering into. I'm still a little bit warrior, but I'm coming out of it. And I've learned quite a few things, especially it was I just started learning stuff real quick after I turned 40, but about finance, about my health, about And that's a big thing that happened after I got sober, because being sober, you kind of like open up your eyes to everything that you actually learned the whole time in your warrior stage. It all starts to come back to you, and you kind of start to understand things a little bit better because you're now sober. So that kind of helps out. And then the final stage after the statement stage is the spirit stage. And that's like where you basically get ready to die. That's where you're like, okay, been there, done that, told people things, and now I'm getting ready to leave, you know, which is probably like the saddest stage. But I guess that's one of the goals in life, is to make it to the spirit stage. And yeah, that's probably like up in your 80s and 90s, you know. But yeah, I think the majority of your life you probably spend in the warrior stage. And if you never mature past the warrior stage, you know, that's just as far as you go. And I feel like, for me, I'm beginning to mature past the warrior stage. I'm not even there yet. So, and I'm 45. So I got me some catching up to do. But I think by doing this channel and putting all these different things together in my life, I'll be able to be a better statement. I think that's what it is. Statement. And I mean, I definitely have some great advice for a lot of different warriors out there, especially like, you know, people in their 20s and things like that. And hopefully, if people start watching this channel a little bit more, they'll be able to, I guess, engage a little bit more. And I'll have to start putting out, you know, a little bit better and more concise videos. But I do a lot of research. I'm learning all kinds of different things, and I would love to speak about all kinds of different things. And if you're interested in Carl Jung and things like that, get into it. This is another book they gave me for free on TikTok to sell. Don't believe everything you think. And maybe we'll just leave with a quote from here. This one comes from James Clear, which is like one of my favorites. He wrote Atomic Habits. And this quote says, "Anxiety is thought without control. Flow is control without thought." And this chapter is for how we can possibly thrive in the world without thinking. I haven't read this book all the way through, but it's got a lot of great stuff. And they pull quotes from a lot of different views. Anyway, I'm going to go enjoy my chocolate cake.